creep me all night long.
Excuse me, you're ruining the song. I was enjoying this, all right?
Fuck you, I'm here now.
Welcome, folks, to our Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 podcast. No Wes Craven, no Heather Langenkamp.
Almost no Freddy.
They didn't even use the music from the first one. You notice the music was different?
Yeah.
What the hell? Actually, I read this is the only movie that doesn't have the music in the whole series.
I don't know what people were thinking with this movie.
I know Bob Shea, the creator, was thinking...
All he saw was money.
Money!
Yeah.
Money, 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 money!
Money, 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 money!
And as we said, they weren't even going to pay Robert Englund, but they did some dailies with a stunt double playing him instead and looked like shit. So they finally paid the man and got Robert
I don't know
Englund.
if it looked like shit or just that actor didn't have the same charisma.
There's I don't know if you've seen the Never Sleep Again documentary.
I haven't, not yet.
Okay, it's like a 6-hour documentary, but they actually show 1 3-second little clip of like Freddy walking, the other actor playing Freddy, and he was walking like a wooden robot. There was like nothing to it. His movement looked really weird.
Yeah, that's another thing about Freddy. Even his walk has sass.
Yeah, everything the man does has charisma, and that's why you can't really replace him there. But again, in this movie, they didn't really know yet that he was the franchise, so they basically thought any actor could play him, which clearly is not the case at all.
So my first question is, why did they name this Freddy's Revenge?
If I think about Freddy getting revenge, it would imply that he's getting revenge on
Nancy
from the first one.
Maybe even one of the other parents that torched him.
Maybe Nancy's father.
Right, but we get nothing. He doesn't even speak about revenge in this whole damn movie.
What is this thing with horror movies where, like, it's so lazy, like...
They give it a subtitle, and then they don't follow through with that subtitle.
Isn't there's one Halloween Part 5, which is The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Where's the revenge?
It's just lazy. It's like, yeah, if the character comes back and specifically targets the person who defeated him in the earlier sequel, maybe that's revenge, but this has no basis in revenge.
Okay, well, to be fair with Halloween Part 5, he does end up killing the girl from the fourth movie.
Yes.
Not his niece, but,
but then
the one he needed revenge on is now dead.
Yeah, but then the movie should have cut to credits right after the death scene. And they're like, all right, the revenge is over. But he still keeps meddling around and stalking random people in barns and stuff. And horrible cops that are used for comedic relief. But that's another Halloween 5 podcast. Mark Patton is our main character in this movie who plays Jesse.
The male Scream Queen.
He's the most interesting main character I've ever seen in a horror movie. I'm gonna say
he screams. And in all of Nightmare on Elm Street, he screams the most out of any of our other main characters throughout this whole series.
He does. He's a big-time screamer, 100%.
He has a good scream.
There's a documentary about this movie. I want to say it's either on Amazon or it might be on Shudder. But it's following Mark Patton, and the idea is that at some Comic-Con a couple years ago and reunited with the cast, and he has beef with the director and the writer because he feels like they, by making it so overly, whatever you want to call it,
homophobic?
Not homophobic, homoerotic.
Well, the reason I say homophobic is because the whole movie, technically, Freddy was the embodiment of this guy's potential gayness.
Right.
That in order to beat him, he needed to fall in love with a woman, in order to beat Freddy.
There weren't many horror movies being made like this, that's for sure.
Wasn't this the only horror movie that got made like this in 1985?
Ever. Before that and since then. So, a lot of points for originality, I guess.
Let's just start it off with Robert Englund as our bus driver. That must have ended well.
Yeah, personally, I don't think he has a driver's license or a CDL or an experience driving school buses with kids there.
But it does seem like he knows how to drive a stick. But then he ends up putting the bus at a very early climax-ish area with the bus just like tilting and trying to balance on the rock.
Listen, there's a lot of world building going on in this opening scene. like Freddy's not lazy. He's creating a whole damn world here. Like he could easily just park the bus behind an alley or some shit like that, but he has to take the bus onto a mountain that separates the entire world. Crust basically goes deep into the depths of a mountain, basically Hades. Oh, this is a lot for just like an opening dream sequence where he doesn't kill anybody.
Right.
This is a lot of work, Robert or Freddy.
So the funny thing with this scene actually is every time I talk to my dad about these movies, this is the only scene he can actually remember without watching the movie. And the way he made it sound like it was the climax of the movie. So, of course, I popped this movie in, see it's the first 5 minutes. I'm like, what just happened? I didn't know the movie was over that quickly.
I gotta say, I do love this opening scene.
Right.
Because this taps into a fear that I think everybody probably has when you're a kid, you're getting on a strange school bus with a stranger driving the school bus.
Well, think about...
There's always a weird fear there, especially if you're let's say if you're a younger kid and you're just now being separated from your parents. That school bus vibe can be weird.
Well, think about this as the whole fear. New guy on the block, so of course all the girls are laughing at you. You look like a nerd. And not only that, but now not only do you have a psycho killer coming your way, but you now have to balance the bus to keep it from falling off.
Yeah.
Think about the fear in that, because no matter what, you're dying.
Yeah, and Freddy left you with apparently the two most annoying girls in school.
Right.
Can you imagine being stuck on a bus with them? I'm like, Freddy, take me out, quick.
Driver, that was my stop.
Kill me first. I don't want to be left with these girls. Like, they're like climbing on his back. They're like maneuvering around, pushing him around the back of the bus. They got very uncomfortable. Freddy's taking his dear sweet time. He's walking along the bus. He walks for like a mile. Like for 5 minutes, he's walking slowly. I'm like, how big is this damn bus?
Apparently pretty big. Most buses usually only have 22 seats.
Yeah. So
I guess this bus has 44.
So Freddy, of course, killing kids on a bus. You're going to lose your CDL license. They don't like that. So when you go to retest, they're going to say, nope, can't do it.
Well, instead, we just wake up to Jesse's very first scream in the movie.
The debut of the Scream Queen.
Right.
But what I'm more puzzled about is his family's nonchalant reaction. Just like, pass the Pop-Tarts, pass the Toast Strudels. Loud-ass scream. Nah, pass the salt and butter. They're very not caring about their son's loud-ass scream.
Mommy, why can't Jesse wake up like normal people?
Yeah. Does the father even put down the newspaper?
Nah, teen hijinks.
Yeah, this family is also very weird. Like,
don't forget the Fu Man fingers.
The Fu Man fingers. Well, what's this hero called? Fu Manchus?
Yep, Fu Manchu. I'm like,
Where the hell's-
like after my mustache?
Where the hell's the Captain Crunch? What is this?
And why does Fu Manchu, Mr. Manchu, look like the Grinch?
Yeah, what's this little girl eating the cereal for? And then,
The Fu Man fingers.
Yeah, and it happens to come with a little fake Fu Man / Freddy fingers. It looks like a play on that.
Right. But here's the real issue with this scene.
The father is the guy from Return of the Living Dead.
No.
Bert.
Where's Ernie? But anyway, the real issue. Who names their car Deadly Dinosaur?
Okay, so we're introduced to Jesse, of course, as our main teenage kid, right? So you're right. So the door rings, and it's Lisa. So my question is...
When did he meet this girl?
Yes.
I mean, they just moved there. They seem to be really just friends, but you could definitely tell there's kind of the attraction.
On her end.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't see any attraction on his end. I see her flirting with him.
Oh, yeah, but again...
Unless you want to call the damn dinosaur car as flirting.
Probably.
He just moved there.
When did he meet this girl?
Wait a minute. Here's what I was puzzled about. She's coming to his house, not to pick him up, but to then get into his car and drive to school.
How far away do they live from each other? We never get that.
Okay, think about this. So she's walking to his house. So is she like out of the school district or just like too far away from the school?
No, she's not out of the school district because the ending, she's in the bus going to the same school.
And why does she need a ride?
So I think the reason she wants a ride is probably to get to know this guy.
Okay.
She's trying to woo him, even though, it's supposed to be the other way around back in that day. But she's trying to woo him so she can see if he's a compatible match to her.
She's rich. She doesn't have a car?
Maybe she does and just doesn't want to drive. Again, she wants to get to know him.
Wouldn't this all make sense if she was like the poor girl next door?
Probably.
And also, by the way, wouldn't this make more sense if he hadn't just moved there?
Well,
when the hell does he seem like the type that actually would get to know her to a point where they're riding together to school in that short period of time?
Here's the real thing. I don't think we ever get to know her age. She could be too young to drive yet. She could only be 15. Remember, you don't get your learners until you're 16. Don't get your driver's license until you're like 16 and a half, 17.
I feel like these movies always do at least 16 years old. I can't think of many teen horror movies where they actually go down to like 14, 15 though.
But it's still a possibility.
Fair.
Or she's just turned 16 a few days ago and hasn't gotten the chance to get their learners yet. Or she's still in driver's ed. You can't get your learners until you go through driver's ed.
So the only hiccup then is did he just move to town? And if he did, how does he already know her well enough for them to be doing this?
Or if he didn't just move to town, how long has he been in town?
Well, he tells his friend Grady in the locker room that his parents just bought the house on Elm Street.
Or it's possible he already lived in another part of town and just moved there to a bigger house.
Potentially, but why I think he came from a different town is because his friend Grady has explained to him about Elm Street. He's never even heard of Elm Street.
He doesn't know the whole story with Nancy.
I feel like if he was from the area, it wouldn't be like such a rant. He's like, huh?
Yeah, because for the most part, Nancy's story is now kind of a legend, an urban legend with the town.
Everybody in Springwood would know about this.
Well, I guess except for, that makes me wonder, did Lisa just move there too? Because notice how she really didn't know anything about Nancy either until they find the diary.
We're asking the questions that the writers unfortunately did not ask.
Right.
I don't know who moved here when, who's lived here for a while. I know Grady's been here for a while because he knows the town legend.
3 months he's been living there, and he still has not unpacked his room. It sounds like me. I still haven't unpacked my room.
Damn it, nothing makes sense. You're right.
Well, I won't lie.
He's been there a week.
So I won't lie. Living in my apartment, lived there for 2 years, still did not finish unpacking.
Okay.
And then we moved.
That is very weird and unusual.
It is, but his dad just got so frustrated that he hadn't unpacked yet. So I guess 3 months would make some sense.
We see him actually become friends with Grady.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, after they fight. And was it natural for fights in the 80s that a guy pulls another guy's pants down and then they start like rolling in the dirt?
In this movie, it's completely natural. We're going to see a whole lot of stuff similar to that in this movie.
Like I said, when I fought someone, it was with my fist. We never touched any part of our clothing to pull them down.
All right, but think about it from a strategic standpoint, though, right? You pull the pants down to distract them, and then you go for the uppercut to the face. You punch him in the face, and you got the whole school laughing at him because they saw that his pants came down.
Well, remember, the girls were very interested.
Lisa's friend.
I think her name was Angela.
Talk about underdeveloped, weird, always there but never really there character. Right. What? Anyways, get in a fight, and our coach Coach Schneider decides that they're gonna do
push-ups
for the whole
or plank
for the entire day, and maybe all night, as Grady says.
Yeah,
because he says the coach is into this kind of stuff.
Which we.
But the key thing here is that maybe the only character development in the movie we have. Grady and Jesse actually become friends, or they bond over
getting their asses beat.
Endless push-ups, and by the way, these are the weirdest looking push-ups I've ever seen in my life.
Well, that's why I think instead of push-ups, they're supposed to do planks, because after a while, no matter what position you are, your body's going to get tired, and you're just going to pretty much go down. That's why I'm thinking they're not doing push-ups.
They're slowly going up, but they're almost doing it away with they're making it as difficult as possible for themselves.
Or they're slowly going up, and they're so tired that they can't keep their muscles up, but they're also trying to stay up. It doesn't look like they're going back down.
Here's why this is BS. Once they see the coach has gone into his office, they're going to start faking a little bit and not going full tilt. Ah!
Well, notice how the coach was watching them outside his window. Yeah. He was looking for them pretty boys.
Who wrote this goddamn movie? So, actually, we do get really the first appearance of Freddy. It's a dream sequence that Jesse has.
Of course, because it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
And this is where Freddy lays out his brilliant scheme for this movie, his brilliant plot.
Sort of. All he says is, you have the body. I got the brains.
Which is a great Fresh Prince song, if you ever heard it.
Mm-hmm. I know there was multiple Nightmare on Elm Street raps, and I know one of them had Robert Englund.
Well, one is from the Fat Boys, and he's definitely in that music video.
Okay, so it's probably that one I'm thinking of, because I know he did a few verses in one of them.
You're right. He says, we got special work to do, me and you.
And also, why does Freddy need Jesse to help him kill? He didn't need it in the first movie.
But this is a part of his revenge.
What revenge?
I don't know. Listen,
Jesse's parents had nothing to do with what happened to him.
Look, we could spend this whole podcast just trying to figure out what the hell is Freddy's plan in this movie. What is he trying to do?
He has no damn plan.
There's got to be some logic to it. All right. What do we know about Freddy? We know that Freddy likes to kill people in their dreams. He likes to spread fear. He definitely likes to take credit for his kills. So he's going to frame Jesse
I see
to come out in the real world and attack pool parties.
And also, how in the world does Freddy still have his powers in the real world when he's not even in the scene?
Well, what you're getting to basically is one of the biggest faults of movies these days that people don't like is when you have internal logic and then you contradict the internal logic. What we know about Freddy is not the Freddy in this movie. This is almost like
a ghost,
a different dream demon or something.
This is literally a poltergeist mixed with Freddy in the background.
You know, here's if I wanted to give an explanation for it. Here's the explanation I can come up with on the spot. I think we established, my opinion is the first Nightmare on Elm Street was Freddy in his early stages of his dream demon days. Him just experimenting, trying out stuff, really hasn't come to his own yet. If he's still kind of in the early stages here, maybe this is his one time where he really tried some bullshit, and after this movie he was like, well, I'm never doing that shit again. I'm sticking just the normal haunting the dreams and all that, but I'm never trying that take someone's body bullshit again. Maybe this was like his early days failed experiment.
Well, remember, he, I guess, takes over a bird.
Yeah.
So,
because after this he goes back to his traditional part 1 stuff. So this might have been just like a weird. He's like, I'm gonna try some shit. I don't know. I mean, if it's early days, then maybe he's experimenting with shit. But this is definitely nothing that Freddy ever does in the rest of the movies. Never even thinks about the idea of inhibiting bodies. It's very much the Jason Goes to Hell of the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
And it happened so early in the series.
He walked to this bar in the rain,
barefoot, no shirt,
naked, almost in pajamas.
Well, I mean, I guess it being a fetish bar, it's par for the course.
Okay, were you like me at this point where I didn't know if this was a dream sequence or real life?
Yeah, pretty much.
And the fact that he was walking to a bar across town, I thought it was a dream sequence.
Here's the real question. The fact that the bartender, okay, here's your beer.
Okay, this whole scene's ridiculous. So Jesse pours half a beer. We have no reason to believe why he's going to be drinking a beer. He just pours the beer, and then Schneider, of course, because he would be visiting places like this, is there. No, that's fine. Snyder catches him. Now, Snyder catches him, and then we cut to
him running in the gym.
In the middle of the night, running laps.
Yeah.
I don't know if Schneider has the authority to have this man running laps in the gym in the middle of the night. And Jesse's got to be the most naive, stupidest kid ever to be like, I'm actually going to go run these laps.
So to be fair,
what the hell, man?
Most likely, what Schneider told him was, you're taking my punishment or I'm calling the cops.
Calling the cops? He didn't do anything. They didn't check his ID. They let him in the bar. It's the bar's job to ID him. And then the bartender served him. He didn't do anything wrong. The bartender was asked for ID.
Maybe not, but there's still evidence that he was about to. There's witnesses all over.
Ain't nobody going to jail for that. Get out of here.
No, you're right. No one's going to jail for it. It's called taking a deal.
That's a stupid deal.
It's like, hey, you get out of jail. Just tell me if this kid was underage drinking. He was about to.
No.
Okay, get out.
This is Schneider being a weird authoritarian gym teacher.
He has a fetish.
To watch him run laps?
Yes.
What the hell?
Remember, the fetish, I think the fetish for Schneider was young kids.
Jesse, there's no taking a deal here. This was stupid. But Jesse should have said, sir, I appreciate that you caught me. I'm going home. But I think he is dreaming. I don't know. He's not dreaming.
He would have to be in a sense because Freddy wouldn't have been able to do half the shit any of the stuff he does in this damn scene.
Well, that's what I don't understand. So, okay, I know that Freddy can take over Jesse, right? But Jesse has to be sleeping when Freddy takes over him, right?
Apparently not.
Because how do you explain the shower scene? He's taking a shower and then Freddy just shows up.
Yep. Freddy should not be able to do all these in the real world.
It basically means that Freddy is unstoppable because he can actually, in the real world, make magic shit happen.
Exactly.
How are you going to beat this dude?
Yeah, because now he can kill you in the real world. You don't need to be sleeping.
And thankfully, he does just that to Schneider.
Yeah.
Because I think it's about time for him to exit the movie.
Yeah, well, that's what we get.
But
tied, whipped, then slashed.
Yes.
All in that order.
Quite the shower experience for Mr. Schneider.
He probably enjoyed it too.
I think so. But guess what? A cop brings Jesse home. And
to be honest with you, I feel like the father's reaction is genuine. It's like, what drugs are you taking?
And who's giving it to you?
Exactly. Like, I'm sorry, my kid's acting strange like that. Probably the first thing I'm going to would be drugs first. At least at that age.
Well, let's see. Is he acting strange? Let's see. He was walking home in the middle of the night, naked, in the rain. And the cops found him and pulled him over and brought him home.
Drugs.
Hardcore drugs.
All the drugs. I'm surprised he's not eating someone's face right now.
What's funny is the nerve of Jesse, he looks at his father like, drugs? I'm
not taking drugs,
are you kidding me, Pops? Dad? This is the most ridiculous thing you've ever suggested. And then he's like, Mommy, can I go upstairs and go to sleep? She's like, yes, honey. Weird family, man. I'm telling you.
Also, one other thing, because he gets to school the next day, and Grady tells him, hey, someone wasted Snyder last night. There was bloody footprints in the shower. And
he thinks back and says, hey.
Real question I got. So the showers were running, right, when Freddy killed him?
Yeah.
And we don't have any news that Jesse turned off the water.
Nope.
You do know blood would run down the drain. So how would there be bloody footprints when it happened with the water running? The footprints would have went down the drain because that's where the blood would go.
I thought you were going to complain about the high water bill. Well, that too. That makes sense also. I get what you're saying. It should look like the end of Carrie here. I don't know. I mean, the problem is that in the real world, Jesse is actually killing people. He is guilty.
Yes.
Like, he's the one doing the killing.
Yes.
You can say Freddy took over his mind or whatever, but I mean, unless he's going to plead insanity, it's like he's the one
He
physically.
probably could, actually, with everything he's seen, and technically doesn't remember actually doing the killing. He could legitimately be saying, no, Freddy did it. Says it enough, and the town's just going to be like, get him to the nut house.
But there's evidence to suggest that he does remember. Now, he's not saying it to the audience per se, but when Grady's like, someone wastes Snyder and it describes how it was done, there's a clearly look on Jesse's face of, oh shit, that's me. I did that.
Okay.
And by the way, it's not like he has amnesia. He walked home from there
naked
in the rain, naked.
Wait.
You
think the cops would bring that up?
The cops should be like, wait a minute. Okay. Found dead body. Found kid who goes to said school, walking home naked.
In the rain.
Brought him home.
Without shampoo.
The cops in Springwood, man. Always trash, man.
I think these are the only cops you ever see in Springwood.
Well, Nancy's dad. He would have been long since gone. I guess in part 3 he's
I'm surprised he's not in this movie, considering the fact that, again, in part 3 he's still in the town.
So this movie says that part 1 was
5 years ago.
5 years ago. That's a lot of time. It's tricky because part 3 then basically acts like this one doesn't exist.
Right.
So it's not really in the canon, but going by part 3, in part 3 he's no longer a cop. So immediately after part 1, he must have gone crazy and became a janitor or something. So,
or I guess canon to this movie is maybe he went wherever Nancy went and just decided to be a father figure for her instead of just a cop.
Well, here's the thing. The cops, though, they would know about what happened with Nancy, right? Mm-hmm. And her friends. So anybody dying by getting slashed has to bring up some kind of Freddy Krueger thought, potentially.
You'd think.
It's not like they found Freddy's body or anything.
You'd think.
Like,
well, I guess within 5 years, a bunch of newbies would be coming in and wouldn't know the stories yet.
I wondered, how were those murders in the first one explained at the end of the day?
Freak accidents? Or technically
Johnny Depp getting pulled in the bed and a damn gorge of blood coming out was a freak accident?
So technically with Tina and Rod, it can be explained as murder-suicide.
Yes.
With Glenn, that had to be covered up.
That was the first. That was the first one that was like, oh shit.
Right. The rest could be explained easily.
Nancy's mom.
Well, she got pulled up. Well, they technically found her body in the living room.
Okay, but
apparently committed suicide.
Okay.
Because Nancy went crazy.
But do we think that Nancy and her father, of course, knew what happened? Do we think they actually covered it up though?
Probably.
I think Nancy would have been like, Freddy, believe me, Freddy, and maybe that's why in part 2. I think they suggest that Nancy went to a hospital or something. Like, the dude Grady he's talking about, he's like, some girl went crazy or something. So let's assume Nancy's in a hospital and that her father is working at IHOP or something. So,
well, here's something that is canon lore now. Freddy worked at a power plant. Now we get to see where he killed all those kids.
20 kids to be exact.
20 kids.
Because Lisa, being the research genius she is, actually has put in some work and found out some things about Freddy.
And this is probably the only thing from this movie that carries over to the other movies.
The power plant thing, especially that prequel, that first episode of Freddy's Nightmares.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is the parents coming to the power plant and burning alive.
Right.
So that makes sense, but it's actually, the 20 kids was more than I thought. And by the way, she specifically says that he killed 20 kids. So no thought of the child molestation angle here.
Yeah.
But 20 kids, that is a lot. He killed 20 kids.
So here's one thing I'm trying to figure out. Why does this girl all of us automatically think he's psychic?
Yeah, she keeps pushing. She's like, do you feel something? Do you feel something? No. Do you feel it now? Do you feel it now? Hey, Jesse, how you feeling? Do you feel it? It's like, leave me alone. Do you feel? And
I feel anger.
And she looks the disappointment on her face when she realizes that he's not feeling anything.
Right. He ain't feeling her. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely not feeling her.
Anyway.
Oh, and they find Nancy's journal too.
They found Nancy's journal in the cleaning the room scene.
I know, we just didn't bring it up though.
I thought I did.
Hey, in the first one, did you ever see Nancy keeping a journal?
Nope.
Hell no.
But here's the real kick of the story. It's party time.
Party time! No, wait, party time. Return of the Dead.
Yeah, but, Linnea Quigley isn't in this.
They could have thrown her in that pool party scene for sure. Well, you said this movie's pretty tame by standards of the other movies.
It is tame. I mean, there's no nudity. But then again, Nightmare on Elm Street never really had a whole lot of nudity, if any. I think part 3 was the only one with actual nudity.
Yeah, and these movies are not... This one especially is definitely not a slasher movie.
No.
There's not enough kills. There's not enough... Anything to just slasher.
What are you talking about? There's not enough kills. He kills like 8 people at the pool.
I don't count that. So let's talk about this pool scene, because this is a damn abomination to the whole series.
We're not even there yet. First, Jesse runs to Grady. And pretty much they rehash that scene from the first movie. But instead of Nancy and Glenn, it's Grady and Jesse, where Jesse says, hey, watch me. If you see me having a nightmare, wake me up.
Do you remember the dialogue in this scene? Because, again, the writers... Jesse actually says, he's like...
There's something trying to get inside me. Yeah, she's female. She's waiting for you in the cabana.
And you want to sleep with me. That's pretty on the nose. I mean, that's pretty calling out this whole movie, basically.
Right.
But Jesse insists, hey, man, what do you care? Just, I'm having a problem. I need you to help me. So he gives
and this is after he also goes off on Grady in the lunchroom.
He treated him like shit the whole movie. So this is all, he's like, just help me. And
it's like, are these two really friends?
Well, Grady actually, is a funny thing in the lunchroom, Grady actually invited him to come hang out, but not like this.
Right.
So anyways, he gives the classic, as you said, the classic, hey, whatever you do, Grady, don't fall asleep. But remember, my powers work in real life too, so even if you don't fall asleep, Freddy's gonna get you anyways.
Right, so pretty much Grady had his death written in stone right then and there. And
well, I'll say this, so I'll say a couple things about this. It's pretty cool effects when Freddy comes out of Jesse's body here.
Oh yeah, that was a great effect. Here's another thing. Even though we don't see the actual stabbing into the body, that's pretty painful death right there.
I would say that.
And that was a pretty slow death.
Well, I feel like this death was pretty impactful because it feels like he's the only sort of main character that died in the movie. And really...
And he's the only one anyone actually cares about because...
Yeah, the movie does lose something when he's gone because I feel like he was basically... I don't know,
He's kind of the comic relief. He's also that friend that will help out anyone.
Yeah, like, it was really like... I mean, I guess it's exact thing of just like wrong place, wrong time. Because he's literally he's sleeping in his bedroom and Jesse brings death to him, basically.
Yeah.
So Jesse's the worst friend ever, basically. And then Jesse look in the mirror and be like, "You killed him!"
Yeah, screams at while the cops are trying to. Also, I guess these cops are not using a battering ram to get this door down because they can't seem to kick this door down.
Well, the parents are at the door and they disappear for like 5 minutes, so Jesse can scream at the mayor, "You killed him!" You think the parents would be like, "Hey, I hear Grady's friend Jesse screaming inside there."
Right.
But they disappear, and then you hear the cops, "Hey, open the door!" I'm just going to go out the back window and there's no cops anywhere around, so I'll get out of here.
So here's actually a scene that kind of contradicts what you said about Jesse having to be asleep when Freddy comes out. Because Jesse's not asleep when he comes out at Lisa's house.
Well, so...
He's full-blown awake when Freddy starts, and then Freddy's there.
So this is a scene that Robert Englund feels like is the worst scene in the series. Apparently the whole cast and crew, while they're filming the scene, is like, this is like a ridiculous scene that makes no sense.
Because Freddy would never do this.
Nope.
This is a Jason thing that happens here.
Freddy, like, putting himself in front of a big crowd. Yeah, just, Freddy likes to toy with his victims. And
this one, he's just going around slicing and dicing. One of them he doesn't kill. The other people kill him by stomping all over this kid.
It is a funny thing, though, when the one guy is just, like, treating him like he's like a little, like an ET or like an alien. And he's like, "We can help you. We're not going to hurt you. We're not going to harm you.
Help yourself, fucker."
That was actually.
And also, was that a kill? Because all he did was throw him.
Well, he threw him, but he threw him really hard. the guy hit like the grill and like
the fire geyser happened.
But then Lisa comes out and her dad has a shotgun and Freddy gets scared and walks away.
Here's the real thing. I'm surprised that the dad didn't hit anybody because Freddy's standing in front of them. So obviously the dad comes up also standing in front of those kids. He misses the first shot. If we did not see that bullet clearly hit the table in front of Freddy, I would have sworn he would have hit one of those kids.
My question is, why is Freddy scared? Why does he walk away? He makes eye contact with Lisa.
I don't think it's really
Jesse.
It's probably Jesse. I don't think
Jesse
it's
just
fear.
killed these kids at the pool party.
So I don't think it's fear. What I think it is,
No,
is
the eyes he gives are like these weirdly
realization.
scared / sympathetic / realization.
What I think it is more realization, because at that point Lisa actually saved him from getting shot. So it could be more Jesse coming out a little bit.
It didn't look like Robert Englund there. That was not his. That was not his eyes that looked at her.
No, but
Maybe
like
that was Jesse in makeup or some shit.
Right, like I said, it could have been like a realization of that Jesse's doing something he shouldn't be, because Lisa just saved him.
So Jesse has a heart, but he just killed these kids at the pool party. And where was that when he was killing Grady? What is this bullshit?
Well, then Freddy just walks into a fiery bit of nothing.
What kind of sorcerer is Freddy? This motherfucker's like belongs in Mortal Kombat in this movie. Not all right. Let's get to the end of this movie, because after the pool party, Lisa has some realization that I have to get to the power plant.
I'm sorry, from the pool party on, this movie just...
This is definitely a unique scenario. So we have the female protagonist. We have Freddy, but Freddy is also at the same time our male protagonist, all in one body.
So
this has got to be handled very delicately, Nick. All right, this is a delicate situation.
This is all that happened. She walks in. She sees two random-ass dogs. She goes further. The bite mark that Freddy gave her had maggots. She wipes them off. She falls, find out that falling did not actually happen. So she's just hanging there with her legs, whatever. Then she finds Freddy. She tries to run and then decides, you know what, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to give him a big-ass smooch. And then Freddy burns. That was literally the fucking end.
You know, Freddy's seen better days.
Freddy has seen better deaths.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them. And matter of fact, every single other movie in the series, probably, so...
I'm sorry, this has to be the worst climax in all of climaxes.
Well, the problem with setting up Jesse as your main person is that...
Obviously, you can't kill him.
You can't kill him, but also he doesn't have any involvement in the end. It's basically Lisa saving him.
And all she does is kiss him.
Well, we are meant to believe that they may potentially live happily ever after, but the scene after is why maybe your dad was correct about remembering the bus scene at the climax, because we get a wraparound back to the bus scene again.
But this time, Freddy rips out of Angela's character, Angela.
And I'm shocked you know her name, because it's kind of a waste to like save her death for the end. You could easily just
never even knew her.
Never knew her. I mean, she's Lisa's friend, but she must have had more lines that were cut out or something.
Probably, but yep. And notice how at the end, it just felt like none of those actors wanted to even be there. I mean, even Angela's like, Jesse, come on. Just think about it. It's all over.
Do you see like the cut from when she says that to when the thing comes out? There's like a weird cut, and you can tell it's a different scene.
Yeah.
It was not done well.
No. And I have the Blu-ray version.
Yeah, me too. But it's noticeable. But I gotta say, man, if the bus thing would have been the movie, like Freddy on a bus, like Jeepers Creepers 2, but with Freddy.
Right.
Man, that sounds very interesting. Like Freddy only can kill kids on a school bus when they fall, because who doesn't sleep on the school bus sometimes?
Right. So,
anyways,
so there you go.
There's our plot summary. I'm using the word plot loosely.
Very. You know, watching this with a critical eye, it definitely hit. This movie is not great.
Critical eye. I felt like a pencil in my eye. A sharp object in my eye, in and out.
I can see where a lot of people do not like this movie.
Well, let's get into our categories first. We'll get to our final thoughts after that.
Right. So, first category is best and worst scene.
All right. Best scene for me, opening bus scene.
Same.
Well, okay.
It's any other scene.
Okay, worst scene for me, all the scenes with Coach Snyder. For me, Coach Snyder is the least valuable player here, the LVP.
Okay, you got that. I actually chose something different. The climax.
Okay.
There was none.
There you go.
It was very anticlimactic. Like, seriously, a fucking kiss? I did not know while I was watching a Disney movie.
The power of love, Nick. Best performance, you know, when I think about it as I'm reviewing it, I like Grady and I like Lisa. And Grady does a lot with a little, man. You can, with the scenes Grady's in, you can kind of tell who he is as a human being. Mm-hmm. You know that person, basically. He gives a strong impression of, like, everybody has a friend like that or has had a friend like that probably at some point.
Or still has a friend like that.
Yeah. So he does a lot with very little, I would say, character-wise. And actually, the actor did go on and do other stuff. Like the actor, I've seen him in other stuff. I can't place it, but he's definitely a familiar face. This is Lisa, the actress. This is her first movie. She does a great job for it being her first movie.
Right.
I'm gonna just go with Grady, even though I think Lisa obviously does more for the movie. Go with Grady because he's unfairly killed because of Jesse trampling into his room and getting him killed. So out of sympathy for his character, I'm gonna go with Grady.
All right, so best for me. Now, I've already mentioned for these movies, I'm not choosing Robert Englund for best performance.
We have to exclude him.
Yeah, because because obviously every movie we're going to end up choosing him.
That's true.
So in this one, I'm actually going to go ahead and say Mark Patton.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Because you know what? What other movie? This is practically his only movie. And he does well with what he's given. And he has a really good scream.
He does have a good scream.
He's a great scream queen. I just wish they would have let him do something more. Like maybe we see an internal have him have one more nightmare to have an internal conflict with Freddy for him versus Freddy at the end instead of what we got.
So, can we pivot to the one I want to do is like character you would get rid of?
Yeah, because technically that would be our worst performance.
Yeah, I just think
I get the feeling I already know who you're choosing.
No, it's gonna be a twist.
Okay, who?
Because I've been thinking about it. It'd be predictable for me to say Coach Snyder.
Yeah, that's who I was
But I feel like I've already touched on that. I'm gonna give a twist here. I'm gonna say Mark Patton.
Really?
If we get rid of Jesse, and just Freddy is just going after Lisa, all the subtext gone from the movie, just a straightforward. Lisa has moved into Nancy's house. You can give her the same family, same dynamics. Her boyfriend can be Grady.
And hell, get rid of the whole host thing that Freddy was doing this whole movie.
Just turn this into a straightforward, traditional Nightmare on Elm Street movie. She's a good enough actress to pull off that. Also, by the way, by that, her friend then gets way more development too.
Yeah.
Now she's a character. I'm gonna say if you get rid of Jesse, now during the closing credits, if we can still have him dancing just have him randomly cleaning his room and dancing, because I mean that's 80s cheese. You gotta have that. But yeah,
right before he dies.
Yeah. In response to your Mark Patton did a great job. No disrespect to him, but the character, I feel like this movie might have been better without him.
So, if I had to eliminate a character, it would have to be Angela, the friend.
Yeah.
I mean, what did she do in this movie?
I wonder how much the actors got paid for this. Because
nothing.
Because if she got some money for that, she didn't do anything.
Right. I doubt she got anything. Otherwise, she got a free paycheck.
Well, she sort of explodes at the end of the bus. I mean, I guess that's something, but it's too little, too late, Angela.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just gonna explode at the end when the movie's already over.
Again, no offense to the actress, but you know when a script really gives you a character that tries to be integral to the plot but is not, it makes no reason we even need her.
Okay, well let me pivot this to our final category, which if you want, you can bring her back up. That is character or storyline you wish they would have explored more. Now, I'm definitely not going with Angela, but any thoughts on that?
So for me, it's actually Lisa. We learned nothing about her except she's rich and she can swim. And she's a redhead. What else did we learn about her?
She can't drive.
And apparently she likes psychics. Seriously, what?
And she's good with research.
What all else do I know about her to make me care about her character? We don't know anything really about her family except she has a loving mother and father.
And very rich. I mean, that whole pool area is
and they're rich. That's it. We don't know anything about her backstory. We don't know.
She's a bad friend. She doesn't pay much attention to Angela.
Right. She's too busy trying to get Jesse.
Did she say anything to Grady the whole movie? Did they ever interact? I feel like they're sitting at the lunch table, but they're all individually just talking to Jesse. How weird is that?
Well, no, Angela said something to Grady. I feel like Lisa should have gotten a little bit more development.
Yeah, that's right.
She really got none, and she was technically our main character at the end of the movie.
Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, you could have easily eliminated Jesse and just had her plot twist half of the movie. Jesse's head gets chopped off. I don't know why. Just whatever.
That wouldn't be that much of a plot twist with Freddy movies.
I got an idea for this. I was thinking about this, and I got a really good idea. So Jesse's family, who basically disappear towards in the movie, but get a lot of screen time initially. But more specifically...
The father?
No. I got a better idea.
The sister?
Because they teased this. He went into his little sister's room.
With the Freddy claws.
If you're going to have him turn to Freddy, that's the coolest thing you do with the storyline is him going after his little sister, put his little sister in jeopardy. Mm-hmm. You get way more higher stakes than whatever stakes there are in the power plant at the end. There's none. But him, let's say he kidnaps a little sister and takes her to the power plant. something where like she's going back to like now get the sister back too. There's stakes there, and it's like almost like they're stupid because they tease with it, and that was the most suspenseful scene, him going to her sister's room. It's like, yes, there's something there, but they never revisit it. So, yeah. So, anyways, I feel like they could have done more of that. The family literally disappears. You could have killed them off.
Right.
More death scenes, at least. More meaningful death scenes. Also, Nancy, because she's not in the movie. She could have got a shout out to some kind of nod to Heather Langenkamp. So, dare I say our final thoughts, sir?
Well, my final thoughts. The acting was decent. Definitely, the quality lagged. Like the sound quality definitely did not sound anywhere near the first movie. The camera quality did not look anywhere near as the first movie. The quality of the whole movie just tanked, in my opinion. The ending was very anticlimactic, and it took a while for Freddy to even do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, and also all the rules that were established was completely taken out of the picture in this.
Yep.
So with my
habitual rule breaker in this movie.
Right. So with all that said, I'm giving this a low 2.
Okay.
I was thinking 1.5, but no, there's still some enjoyment you can get out of this movie if you just turn your brain off and watch it. So to me, it's a 2.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I agree with everything you said. It's definitely of a lower quality from the first one. Some of that might be they rushed it out. It came out a year after the first one. Some of it might be that you don't have Wes Craven behind the helm at the helm here. So you have a lower quality production, let's say. But to your point, I don't fault the actors. The actors do a good job. If you take the same actors and give them a better script, you probably have a really good movie. So I don't fault the actors at all.
You fault Schneider.
It's funny. The Schneider actor, I've seen in other movies where I like the actor. So again, it's just this weird writing. So she's just shoehorned in as a weird character. I'm going to treat it how I treat Jason Goes to Hell. By itself, as a movie, I like Jason Goes to Hell. But I can see where it's a weird fit with the rest of the series. If you watch a marathon and you get to Jason Goes to Hell, you're like, what is this bullshit? But if you haven't seen any of them in a while and you just strictly watch Jason Goes to Hell, it's okay. Apply that logic to Nightmare 2. In a marathon scenario, it's a big WTF. Doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. There's a reason why Part 3 erased it from canon. Never mentioned again.
Minus the power plant.
Minus the power plant, which was actually a good idea that they brought that back. I think, like you, I was going to go initially with like 1.5 star. But this movie does have a rewatchability to it. As silly as it is entertaining, and I can watch it again. And that says more about it than the new Mortal Kombat movie even. So, I mean, I'm going to stretch to 2 stars based on the rewatchability. None of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies are, like, that bad. Even this, like, as not great, it's still not that bad of a movie. They still have some redeeming qualities.
The remake is that bad.
The remake is that bad. That's true. I wasn't really thinking about that. But look, my main takeaway is that I want to see Freddy on a bus. Forget another sequel. Give me Freddy on a bus, all right?
Why not Freddy on a boat?
I mean, that's just like Freddy Takes Manhattan. You know? We don't need to see him finish off the kids from the senior class in Manhattan, all right?
That's fine as long as we don't get another sewage scene.
I'm saying imagine Freddy on a bus, right? And the bus is traveling from like Los Angeles to New York. I mean, got cross country, man. Those kids got to sleep.
So one thing I noticed at the very end with the bus going, again into the desert, if you look in the bus watching the bus jumping up and down, you'll see the dummies actually flying out of the seats.
Oh my goodness.
Some bumps and you just see one flying, hit the ceiling, come back down. I was like, oh, he did.
I mean, this is a movie that had $3 million. I don't know where it went, but...
Definitely not to the script. A little bit to the actors and actresses.
No, they all got scale probably. Robert Englund though did get an increase from the first movie at least.
Well, hopefully.
Props to him. And this movie, I think after this they realized that Freddy's the franchise, and I think Freddy realized I'm never trying that shit again. All right, folks.
Y'all don't need to go anywhere, but y'all definitely got to go to bed because Freddy's missing you.
And if there's any takeaway, it's don't begin on no school buses with no driver that looks like Robert Englund.
If there's a real takeaway, just don't go to an S&M bar and where your teacher hangs out.
And if your gym teacher in the middle of the night tells you that you got to go do laps at the gym, just say no.
Especially if he then pushes you into chairs.
And don't walk home in the rain naked either.
Yeah, that automatically makes you a suspect.
and eat normal breakfast cereal, not
Always.
whatever this Wu Fan
Who Manchu?
Hu Manchu. No Hu Manchu.
Anyway,
Chocolate chews.
have a good night, everybody.